Welcome to the Sydney Football Stadium. Scene recorded earlier this evening. The fabulous atmosphere for the 1992 State of Origin series. This is the kickoff. What a great night we've got in store. Hello and welcome to the SFC for the first rugby State of Origin game for 1992 between the Blues and Queensland. 2 games to be played in Sydney, 1 at Lang Park, Brisbane in the best of 3 series. No more than 2 points separated the teams in last year's exciting 2-1 victory by Queensland. Can the Blues, with the new kids on the block, turn the result around this year? To tell us all about that, Peter Sterling. Well, can they turn it around?
Well, there's enough talent in the side, Ken. Basically, it's whether they can do the job on the night. We have a lot of young players, as you said, and really they've got to rise to the occasion, and they've got to be physically and mentally prepared for this game.
Peter, you've played the State of Origin plenty of times. Only one man has got more Man of the Match awards than you, and that's, of course, the great Wally Lewis. What is it like?
Well, it's intense. That's the word I think that State of Origin football is best summed up by. And really that intensity, unlike club football and sometimes test football, it goes for 80 minutes. There's no rest. You must concentrate for that full 80 minutes or you'll be on the beaten side.
Peter, no Wally factor this year. First time without Wally Lewis.
It's very unusual, isn't it? We've had Lewis, such a dominant figure, been involved in every series since its inception. It's now a new era for Queensland, and of course that era will be led by both Mal Meninga and Alan Langer.
OK, look forward to your comments throughout the evening. Calling all the drama and the tension, that is State of Origin football, Ray Warren and the tonsils of huge Darrel Eastlake.
Ken, I don't know about that, but it is very special to me. And Ray Warren, I guess it's very special to everybody. The players have this wonderful feeling about State of Origin. You look at people coming to the grounds, there's that look of expectation. They expect to see something special, and they usually do.
I know it's special for a commentator, but you're quite right, that's the word, and people are here expecting mainly to be entertained like they have been since 1980. And going back through those records, incidentally, Queensland are holding it 20-13 in individual matches, 7-3 the series. The best players are on show again tonight. New South Wales 5 debutants, Queensland exuding experience. And so it's going to be, as you say, very special.
Well, settle back at home now and you have a look at the teams. Let's run them through for you. Fullbacks, Andrew Eddinghausen against Dale Shearer. On the wings, Rod Wishart and Michael Hancock, the other Graham Mackay and Willie Kahn. In the centres, Brad Fittler faces Peter Jackson. And debutant Paul McGregor marking the Origin master and most experienced player in the game, Mal Meninga. His opposing captain will be clubmate Laurie Daley.
He's a great friend of mine and we get on extremely well, and I think that he's going to do a great job captain New South Wales side. He's a player that leads by example, and I've got no doubt in the future sometime he's going to captain Australia.
Mal's an inspirational player, and to have played under him after, for the last couple of years, he certainly does lead by example, and I'll be trying to do that with the Blues.
Daley against old teammate Kevin Walters. The halves, 19-year-old rookie John Simon faces up to Alan Langer. The locks, Bradley Clyde and Gary Larson. Second row, Paul Sirinen matched against Bob Limner. The other pair, John Cartwright and the Axeman Trevor Gilmeister, also charged with containing clubmate Glenn Lazarus.
He's got another blue jersey on, mate, and once you're out there playing, you just play your normal game. Don't hold back.
We're all very professional players. We know that there's Australian jumpers up for grabs in the course of the series, and we'll all go in as hard as possible, but I'm sure after the game we'll all have a beer together.
Glenn Lazarus fronts Steve Jackson. And newcomer Paul Harrigan on inspection against Martin Bella. In the hooking roles, Ben Elias and Steve Walters. On the bench for the Blues, Craig Salvatore, Brad Mackay, Rob McCormick and David Gillespie. The Maroons, Gary and Mark Coyne, Steve Renoff and Gavin Allen.
Well, one man who knows just how much this game means to the Queenslanders is the former Australian and Queensland fullback, Gary Belcher. Gary, what's it like in the Banana Benders dressing room tonight?
Well, I can tell you, Ken, plenty of nerves, but in Queensland's favour is the fact that they have got no first-time State of Origin players. If you have a look in there, the players are all certainly feeling very nervous. Trevor Gilmeister, he's got a very big job in front of him. The New South Wales forward pack has already been touted as being too dominant. Gilly's got the job of trying to contain them.
Gary, is it a fairly testy atmosphere? I mean, what's it like for an outsider to go into a dressing room right now?
Well, there's no place for outsiders, I can tell you that. Alan Langer is one player. As the game gets closer, you can guarantee he'll be actually physically sick in that dressing room to give you some idea of how nervous the players will be.
Well, a man looking in great shape there is the captain, Mal Meninga, looking for a big game tonight, and the Queenslanders always rise to the occasion. Thank you, Gary. Look forward to your comments right throughout the evening. We will be back right after the break. I can hardly hear Brian. We won't be beaten. Boy, do they make some noise. One man who really loves State of Origin football. It suited his game and his personality to tee. And of course, I'm talking about Steve, the blocker, Roach. Well, Steve, you've been there so many times before. I guess every time it's just as intense.
Yeah, thanks very much, Ken. You know, the adrenaline's pumping here. The atmosphere is great, and I'm sure it's going to be a great match tonight.
The dressing room, as far as you were concerned, what was it about before the big game?
Well, you know, it's just nerves. I mean, it's sort of the whole week long, it's all nerves. We can see Benny Elias there in the background and a few of the New South Wales players getting rubbed. I know Gary Belcher talked earlier about Alan Langer being physically sick. I'm sure Big Paul Sirenan won't be too far behind him.
And what was your mood, Blocker, before you went into these games? I mean, nobody would want to mess around with you.
Well, yeah, mate, it's not a place to walk into. I don't think you'd walk in there off the street, but, you know, the boys are just concentrating alone by themselves, and I'm sure, and by the look of them, they look very keen for a big game.
Thanks, Blocker. Look forward to your comments throughout the evening, and more from the Sydney Football Stadium on State of Origin Night 1 for 1992 when we return. Welcome back to the Sydney Football Stadium. A terrific crowd here tonight. A very, very noisy occasion in the lead-up to Game 1 for 1992. And with me, Paul Borton, played in many, many State of Origin games, knows what it's all about. I'm wondering, John Simon, the New South Wales halfback, a rookie. Everyone's saying he's going to be the weak link, but I remember the same thing when Alan Langer first came into Queensland.
Yeah, it certainly did, and Alan Langer proved all the critics wrong by winning many, many Man of the Match awards. John Simon, what he's got to do tonight is not concern himself with Langer, just concern himself with his own game, get his kicking game right from the start, and then probably later in the first half, start running.
All right, the bookies have got New South Wales as slight favourites. I guess you don't agree with that.
That's always the case. I just must say, that song we just played, we can't be beaten. We used to play that in every Queensland dressing room just before we went on, and it brought back a few memories for me. I'm tipping Queensland. I think their back row should win in the game with some great defence. Gilmeister leading the way and Larson. And I think Langer should take over the game and feed his backs with Meninga running right out wide.
Either way, we're going to have a fabulous game of football, and with all those 5 new debutants, that's going to be interesting to see how they perform, and obviously you'll be talking about them throughout the evening. Thanks, Paul. 5 New South Wales players, as we said, will make their State of Origin debut tonight. What a moment. Let's take a look at them now. Over the past decade, it's been stability that has played such a major role in Queensland's preparation for the series. But once again, the Blues will debut new players. Paul Harrigan, the young giant who tore the heart out of Sydney, up against the seasoned Queensland warhorse Marty Bella.
Probably the most inexperienced, and he probably would be the experienced, but I think you live in no one's shadow when you're out there in the game, and I think the crowd and just the play of New South Wales, I think it'll eradicate that, and it'll just be me and him, and it should be good.
Paul McGregor has the speed and size to equal Mal Meninga and Peter Jackson. Mild in manner, he's big on action.
Just go out there and try to do my best against such 2 great footballers, and hopefully equal them and maybe get on top of them if I can.
John Simon, a stepper with a big kicking game, finds himself the toughest of assignments to keep Queensland's main striker, Alan Langer, in check.
I just got to do the job I do with Illawarra. Just sort of call the shots, get him going here, get him going forward, and then just let it sail for Laurie and the rest of the backs.
Graham Mackay, a powerhouse down the touchline, but also ready to roll up his sleeves and pitch in to help the forwards in the hard stuff.
Oh, mainly probably from the start, just help out the forwards, be pretty tough in the middle, just get in there and get involved from the start.
Robbie McCormack, Mr. Versatile, a player who can't wait to get into the fray. The little knight may just be the player to turn the tide if the Blues run into trouble.
I'd like to get out there straight away and get into it, but watching the other guys run around and just see how the game's running out, that's an added bonus.
Well, that's how the 5 debut players feel about their big game tonight. Let's hope that they go very, very well, because it's going to be a terrific contest if a couple of these kids break through and make their mark on what is a great game of football. We'll be back at the Sydney Football Stadium right after the break. The Sydney Football Stadium, Game 1, State of Origin 1992, a sellout crowd, a fabulous atmosphere, very, very noisy as we get ready for the big game. And the man who's going to help call all the action tonight, just about the voice of State of Origin football, Darrel Eastlake.
Thank you very much, Ken. Good evening to everybody right around Australia, New Zealand, and of course this game will be delayed and sent all around the world. State of Origin, have a look at the atmosphere here, packed to the rafters. A sellout crowd means that 1 million spectators in 33 Origin matches in Australia have turned out to see these wonderful spectacles. As Ray Warren and I said on the sideline, they're more than just football games. They are major sporting events, and they can hold their head anywhere in the world as far as speed and toughness and action goes. And this crowd expecting, of course, just that, another very special game of rugby league. Laurie Daley will be the 10th New South Wales Origin captain, Mal Meninga Queensland's 4th captain, and his first time captaining the Maroons. Ray Warren, this stadium magnificent tonight, packed to the rafters, and just this atmosphere. You have to be here, you can almost touch it.
Yes, and quite amazing just how quickly the stadium has filled up from about half full, only about an hour and a quarter before kickoff, as Laurie Daley brings the Blues down the tunnel from the dressing rooms, leading them out onto the Sydney Football Stadium. Laurie Daley with Benny Elias, he knows what it's like to be the captain of this side. He's already led them to a victory in 1990. Well, the Blues fans right up there. They're pumped up, they're ready for this one. 2 matches at the Sydney Football Stadium this year. 1 at Lang Park as Mal Meninga comes out with the Queenslanders.
And mighty Mal captaining the Maroons for the first time. Look at the look on the face. You talk about intense football. You don't have a more intense look at that. Bobby Lindner, the giant, in the second row tonight. Peter Jackson, watch for a big game from him. Hancock walking in behind him. Then Walters, and out they come. Marty Bella. A big cloud over Marty Bella, but believe you me, he'll turn it on tonight, the big fella. More than fireworks in the sky. Graham Lowe, their coach, first time in last year and successful. One of the most successful rugby league coaches anywhere in the world. The new King Mal. And there he is. Both sides just soaking up the atmosphere. Laurie Daley from Junee in New South Wales, and we've had calls from Junee. They're so proud of this young fellow, and so they should be.
Here's the backs that'll represent New South Wales. Andrew Ettinghausen, the veteran of State of Origin in the New South Wales backs, with 13 of them. Wishart Mackay, the wings. Young McGregor and Fittler, the centres. Fittler, the youngest ever to play Origin football. Daley and Simon, the halves. The forwards, Bradley Clyde, Paul Sirenen, John Cartwright, Glenn Lazarus, Paul Harrigan and Benny Elias.
Queensland now, they're back. Shearer, Hancock and Khan, Jackson, Meninga, who of course is the captain, Walters and Langer. In the forwards, Larson. He locks the pack from Gilmeister, Lindner, Bella, Jackson and Walters as the hooker. Standing by now for the national anthem.
Golden soil and wealth for
South Wales. A wonderful turnout here to support the Tooheys Blues. As Queensland now, the toss was won by Mal Meninga. He's decided to run to the Paddington end of this ground. You can see Glenn Lazarus, a lot of responsibility on his shoulders tonight. He'll do the tough yards up the front, the ones that count. David Manson, the 37-year-old district manager for the Coles Fossey organisation, his 5th Origin match. Controlling all of this energy, control energy here at the Sydney Football Stadium.